Hi, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the Implausible Podcast. Today, this is our first episode of our new segment. Is where we interact with people we know who are doing their own thing, whether it's like a business or something that follows that suit. And we ask them questions to kind of get to understand their business, what they do, how they like it, and hopefully if they could give us tips that we could give y'all if y'all are interested in doing the same thing. Today we have our first guest, Miss Alexis Collins. Um, we also have Malik Ward here today. We can't forget, our member of the team, Malik Ward. but yeah, so we may know you, Alexis, but some of our viewers may not. So tell us a little bit about yourself, like with your personality, what you like to do, things like that.
Hi everybody. I'm Alexis Collins, and I'm basically a journalist and an entrepreneur. I formerly was a broadcast associate at CBS This Morning, and now I'm a production assistant at MSNBC. I also run my own business full-time as well. It's called Lexi Writes, so it's a freelance writing business. And I also have a poetry book out called Embracing Changes that I released last year. And I really enjoy writing. I love, writing books and, just like getting in the zone when it comes to like reading. I've been reading ever since I was a child. Like my parents read to me when I was in the womb. I also used to write like little short stories when I was a kid, like little mini books, and I would read them to the class. So writing's always been like my passion. And I decided to like, start a business because I wanted to help other people when it came to like writing and, just providing
Oh,
like
wait,
good content. So yeah.
got you, got you. I did not mean to cut you off.
Oh, it's okay.
That does lead into our next question though, which is what is your business? Some of the services and like where can we find your website, Instagram, social media, like your handles.
Okay, cool. Okay, so yeah, so my business is freelance writing, and I launched it last year, June 2020. So it's been almost a year since my business, my mini business anniversary. And basically, I write press releases, resumes, cover letters, just like website content, product descriptions, social media content, advertising text, and just a variety of things. I'm very versatile in a lot of different projects. I've also written for publications, so I'm really adept to doing interviews with people and writing their bios for them. And I have like a bunch of different social media handles, but the main page that I use is on my Instagram. It's called Lexi Writes 2020, LEXIE WRITES 2020. So if you guys want to follow me, and I'm also on Facebook, but I mainly use like my personal page, which is just Alexis Collins on Facebook. But and then also my website, lexiwrites.com.
Nice, nice. All right. So the next question is basically kind of like how you said, when and how did the idea to start your own business come about? And what are some obstacles that you face as a business owner?
Um, well, my business was always in the works. Like I always thought about like starting my own freelance writing business, especially while I was working at CBS. But things kind of like accelerated my whole process after I had lost my job. I had gotten laid off. So I really started getting more like into running and operating the business. Like there was different logistics that I had to handle. But I guess like the most difficult part was just like, do you mean in terms of like starting, getting everything together, or just like as the process went along?
I mean, any obstacle that you have faced in the beginning, like during COVID times, just anything in general.
Um, I guess it was mainly just the logistics surrounding it, just making sure that I had my website up, that, I had my email established, that I went through the legal process of becoming an LLC, that I had all my contracts established. And I think it was just also, like getting clients. Like, I think that's the big thing when it comes to, being a business owner, especially with this new, social media landscape and platform. It was just like attracting like different clients. You have to be, like as a business owner, you have to be very insightful and engaging, and, like make sure that you pull in, your target audience and demographic. So with that, I mainly was advertising, like on Facebook and on Instagram, and just trying to have like advertisement that really like pulled in my viewers. So I think it was just also finding like a medium in order to, create content. And I started using like different apps, like such as Canva, and just putting different like content through there, like writing tips and advice, and, just things that make me seem more relatable too, like seeing, as I always say, like the face behind the name when it came to my brand and my business. But just building that rapport with people, building that, consumer trust, and having people come back, consistently for different projects and things like that, making sure that things were done on time, and just dealing with the scope of that. So I feel like, and also sometimes I have to admit, like the incentive and drive sometimes, like, cause in the beginning, when I got laid off, like there was a lot of things going on with me, like health wise and different things like that. And it was very difficult at times to, like make sure that everything was put together while also facing my own internal struggles. So that was definitely challenging in the beginning, but, I'm in a lot better place now, and, like things are going along pretty nicely, so.
That's good. That's good. Um, say if one of our viewers, right, they wanted to start their own writing business, right? So since you said about close to a year's worth of experience, what advice have you learned along the way that you would give to the viewer that say they want to start theirs soon?
Well, one, first and foremost, just be passionate about what you want to do, your niche. Like, don't go into business with something that, of course, isn't marketable, that won't really attract a lot of people. Like, make sure, you get the opinions and word of advice from, people in your circle, other mentors or experts in the industry, or even just, again, joining like group chats and different circles like that, to garner more information and do your research before starting the business. And then also, the passion and drive has to be there. Like, you have to really love and be invested in what you do, because if the motivation and passion isn't there, then the quality of your work kind of declines, and it's very difficult to attract the client base and, customers if you're not putting your all into it, And also, I guess, just in terms of like making sure that all your stuff is put together in writing, that's also a big important part, because, as you're talking to different clients or prospective clients, like you want to make sure that, that you guys are on the same page in terms of what the client wants, if you provide those services, and if that's in the scope of, your expertise and what you do. That's also a huge component. And also, I guess in terms of pricing as well, always be sure of your prices. Like if you know that your work is high, top tier quality, and you know that you can provide like amazing services, then you shouldn't lower your value or your worth or your prices, and what you think that you deserve and what you've earned. I think that's also a huge part. And of course, again, for all my business owners, like be official when it comes to like you being a legal entity, like get that LLC, or try to see if you can become like a legitimate company and corporation, because you really want to be protected legally, like God forbid, in case anything happens, then, your personal assets will also be protected. So that's my advice to future entrepreneurs.
That's good advice. Some good advice.
That pricing information, that is something that I also I guess kind of deal with, in a sense, like knowing what the right price is and trying to like appeal to customers as well, but also knowing like my own self-worth. So that is very good point that you brought up.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I've seen like I read somewhere where it was like, oh, if you're discussing, your prices and you're like, oh, wow, like, you want to feel good about what you're charging too, like you don't want to feel like you're being undervalued. So that's definitely very important.
Sure. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, what are some long-term goals that you have for Lexi Writes? Like, what's the next step or what's the next move that you have in mind? If you're willing to
Yeah,
share that move.
give us some of the stories.
That's a good question. Well, I definitely know I want to write another book. I mean, that's kind of like within my brand, but just in general, like I want to write another book, but I'm not sure necessarily if it's going to be poetry still or if I want to write like a book compiled of different short stories. Like I think that would be pretty cool. Like, or I don't know. I just know that I want to write like another book. So that, that's something that I want to do that's in the works. And then, I definitely want to post on my blog more, just talk about different topics. That's also, a part of my website, but I was talking about a lot of like, socially conscious topics on my blog post, but I would definitely love to, like interview different people and just like get other people in the community, like their perspectives when it comes to certain topics that I think are important and relevant. Um, and I guess like eventually just become like my own, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Because I know I definitely want to expand, like offer more services, but sorry, my phone's like on.
Nah, it's good.
Dang, that's a good question. I'm trying to think. Hmm. I guess also like become like a marketing consulting brand, like, help with PR. Like, I think that's something I want to extend into. Like, I want to be able to utilize, like a lot of things that I learned in journalism, while I was in college. So I definitely think I would want to do that, like just helping people with like their branding and, like media and, beyond just writing, but also like video content and, like actual social media content when it comes to posting and just getting their name and their brand and their business out there, because I know how difficult that can be. And I also had a lot of people, asking me for advice when it came to that, like, oh, like, how are you able to attract so many clients? Like, what are some of the techniques and tactics that you use? Like, how do you amplify your social media presence? So that's definitely something that I would want to do, is like a marketing consulting brand as well.
All right, before we move on to the next question, I actually do have a question of my own. You said that you're looking to write um like a new book. Do you have like a specific genre, like or a specific age range? Is it a children's book? Is it like a rated M for mature type of book? Like,
Well, definitely not like rated M for mature. I'm gonna keep it, PG 13. It was actually interesting that you mentioned children's book though, because I was actually thinking about that too. Because even as a kid, I did write a lot of like children's books, and I would definitely want to do that. And like I also draw a little bit on the side, so it would definitely be cool like illustrating it as well. But I guess like I don't know. I'm sorry, like there's like different things running through my mind all the time. So I don't
Nah,
know.
it's
I
all
think it'd be
good.
cool like to interview again, like people from, just the community and having them tell their own like series of short stories. I'm like thinking of this as I'm talking to you guys. And just having them like have their stories all in like one book, especially like the elders of the community. I feel like, we don't like talk to them enough about, their stories and the things that they personally went through. And,
Yeah.
I always say like elders are, and I've heard the saying before too, but like a library of information. So there's definitely a lot of people in my neighborhood that I would love to interview, like just people who've been in the community for, decades, and just asking them about their perspectives and stories. So I definitely kind of, yeah, I want to do that. And then I want to add like, like my own illustrations with it. Like that would be so cool. I'm sorry, I'm having a moment, but yeah,
I
no, that would be so
actually
awesome to do. So yeah, I
But right.
definitely do along that route. I guess like, yeah, not like a nonfiction book, but like a
okay.
series of stories or like a memoir.
Okay, that sounds good. I only asked you this because I heard that somebody got something in store down the line soon, and they're looking for maybe an author. They are a graphic design and illustrator, and they have something on the works. So
Oh, we're okay. Well, if this person, like they want to hit me up, like I would definitely be, like willing to, provide like the content and like the text for that. Like definitely,
It's me. By the time this video comes out, I should be able to have my little illustration that I got going on. So.
Oh yeah, well if you want to like partner up and like I can like like write the text for it. Is it like a children's book or?
Yeah, we'll talk more about that. This is more about you. So much to.
Let's take a small break from businesses. Let us know a little bit more about you. You mentioned that you used to draw, right? Outside of writing and poetry, what else do you, outside of business in general, right? Say it's your off day, it's a Saturday morning or Saturday evening, I don't know. What do you like to do on your free time?
Dang, that's a good question. Because honestly, I feel like I've been working so much, I forgot like have like a life outside of that because I'm always like working, That's a good question. What do I mean, I love, to hang out with my friends, like go out to dinner, get a, like a bite to eat. Dang, what else do I like to do? That is a good question because dang, I feel like I've become such a homebody since the pandemic. Like that I haven't like really had a time to really like go out and explore. I know like I want to travel more, obviously. Like I'm actually going to California in a few weeks, with my family, and then I'm going to Cancun in August.
Ooh, okay.
So yeah, like I'm trying to like go different places, explore more. Because a couple years ago, I went to South Africa. It was a part of my class trip, but ever since then, I've been like really enticed to like go explore, like different places, different countries. Like next year, I'm trying to go to like Italy and Spain. And I definitely want to go back to Africa, like to South Africa, Nigeria. I've had this thing now where I'm really trying to like explore like my roots, like being African American. And I've been on ancestry.com. So I've just been like looking at my percentages and just seeing, different places that my ancestors came from. And I definitely want to have that journey where I'm able to go over there and just like see, those different parts like Nigeria, Cameroon, Congo, and just have like that that experience to like reconnect, with the places that my ancestors came from. So that's like a huge component for me. And on top of that, again, like I love reading. Like I love reading Black literature. Like that's been a big thing for me right now, and especially just reading like different like eclectic stories that don't just talk about situations involving like Black trauma, but also just talk about, like Black people in regular spaces as well. That's been huge for me. And I guess what else? That's all I have for right now, but if something pops in my mind, I'll tell you guys a little later.
No problem.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just like, I really need to like, see what else I do outside of work. I just been like working nonstop. So yeah.
Work can be very overwhelming at times, and sometimes we do forget that we need a break for ourselves and like figure out the things that we enjoy doing outside of work.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, and I mean you run like what 3 businesses, right? Yeah. Look, you the entrepreneur too. Okay, like.
One of them is shared with 3 other people, especially my man's right here, Zevi.
Yeah, it was good.
It's not, I mean, you guys can have like a whole seminar on podcasting and just different things like that.
We may have to interview you one day.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no need. But going back to you publishing your book.
Embracing.
Yeah, just wanted to know like, Embracing Changes. Gotta say the name out there one more time.
Yeah.
Just wanted to know like what inspired you to publish that book.
Well, Embracing Change is actually a compilation of different poems that I wrote in high school. And it was funny because initially I wasn't going to publish it, but it was actually my mom, shout out to her, that encouraged me to
Always
like publish, Yeah, she was really like pushing for me to publish those poems. Because, you know, at first they were like, okay, so I always loved to write poetry, like since I was in middle school. You know, I was definitely inspired by the greats like Langston Hughes, Maya Angelou, like they were definitely great influences for me. Even Alicia Keys, because she also had like a book of poems that came out. But just like reading that type of content, I always loved to write. Like they used to joke with me in high school and middle school that I had like ink on the sides of my hands because I'd always bring like my battered poetry notebooks to write in. So there was definitely like a few that I really selected that I really enjoyed, like reading to my family. And I've always been kind of like self-conscious about my poetry. Like I'd only read it to like close family and friends because a lot of them were very like deeply personal to me. But yeah, so the way the book got started, we end up sending it over to the Library of Congress to get copyrighted. And then after that process was done, that took about like 6 months to a year. After we got that back, I actually did self-publishing through the Kindle, like the KDP program on Amazon. And that was definitely an experience because at first I was like, should I try to like submit this to a major publishing house? But I found it like easier, especially since this was my first book, to do it through the KDP program, my bad. But so I basically like formatted the entire book myself. I like made sure that I edited and proofread everything, you know, just to make sure that was great. That the poems really resonated with people, and I put them in, you know, their different categories. And it was definitely a really like smooth process. It only took like 2 days for review before my book was, you know, mass produced everywhere. That was definitely another goal of mine because right now that book is completely digital because, you know, it is just a short collection of poems. But after a certain point, I do want to have like a physical copy of like my next series, you know, my next work. So that's definitely something that's in the process that I want to do. But yeah, it's just been like a very interesting experience, like just getting people's feedback. And even just like a few months ago, I was reading my poems out loud. Like I had like a whole little poetry session on my Instagram page and just reading it to people and just getting their feedback. Like it was very important to me. And a lot of people said, oh, like I really connect with that poem that you wrote about, you know, like your sister, for instance, or, you know, like I really connected with that poem that you did just about like love and like Mother Nature, life. Like that was definitely very big for me because it was just showing that, you know, I'm not the only one who was dealing with and going through those type of experiences. And it was really good to just have my thoughts out there and to have people also connect with those thoughts. So
That's cool. I'm sorry, you mentioned, I don't know if I'm saying this right, KDP program?
yeah, like Kindle Direct Publishing Program.
Got you. Can you explain that? Just for viewers who may not really be too inclined with that. Just briefly explain.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the Kindle Direct Publishing Program, it was actually something that I found out through my own research. And also that I saw like somebody recommended it. She's also an author, and she said that, you know, like it was just a very like, yeah, easy process with her. Cause, you know, with large publishing houses, you have to go through a series of steps, even for people to, you know, like look at your work. Whereas now, you know, that a lot of things are online, you can easily just do it yourself. So yeah, the Kindle Direct Publishing Program, you're able to set your own percentage of royalties. You can choose based on the page length, whether or not like you have it like published, you know, with hard copies, or if you have it on your actual Kindle. And there's also like a program you can do where you can have it like disseminated like internationally, like after a certain point, you can have it like provided like worldwide. So I just thought it was an easier like 1-2 step process. And also you can also format your book on the KDP. Like they give you a whole template and tools to use, so you can like use your book. Like you can put it on there and then decide like how you want it to look. Like they give you a preview and everything. So I would highly recommend the KDP program for, you know, like first time authors and people who want to, you know, like publish their book and they might not have the time to go through large publishing houses, because it's definitely a process. And, you know, you also have to have like a book agent for that. Whereas here, you know, like you can cut out like, you know, all those different steps and just do it yourself.
Got you. That's cool. That's cool. Um, so like one last question, and I'm curious, some of you might be curious. say there's a day where you personally, like, say there's a day you want to be productive, right? You want to get work done, or you want to write a poem or whatever. Like, you just want to do something productive. Like, you're not personally feeling motivated. How would you handle that? Like, how would you go about that?
Good question. Um, well, I definitely feel like it's very important, like not even just with business owners, but like people who are in like who are working in general, like whether you're in school or like you're doing like your job and different things like that, to definitely make sure that you unwind and take a mental break. Like I feel like that's so important. Like, even if you have a lot of deadlines and projects coming up, like make sure you take some time to yourself, even if it's just watching a little bit of TV or going outside and getting fresh air, or, like reading a book. Like you don't want to be at your computer, like all day working or, like doing different assignments, because you want to make sure that, you're in the best like mental capacity to do so, because then again, like the quality of your work becomes affected and it's counterproductive, like at the end of the day, like we're all human. You don't want to have your health affected, severely affected because you're constantly, like working. So I feel like the term I would use for people who are dealing with that particular experience is burnout,
Yeah.
and in order to cope and deal with that, I would just say, just shut everything off, like take a step back, reevaluate certain things, just clear your mind, like do anything that's outside of, like work and your business. Even again, like if it's for like 15, 20, 30 minutes, and then come back and, trust me, you'll feel so much better. You'll feel invigorated, even go out, get a snack, like, get a meal, drink some water, just like find some time to re-energize and invigorate yourself. Because I definitely, personally had that experience myself, where there was one point where, I had a lot like on my plate, and, I was starting to experience burnout, and I'm like, okay, well, I have to, in order for me to function at my best capacity, I had to force myself to take a break. I had to shut everything off. I even shut off my phone, like just got off of everything and just took some time to like really just meditate, and just like be in tune, with myself, like mentally, physically, spiritually. And then after about like, I want to say 30, 45 minutes, I came back to, my computer to continue doing what I was doing. Because you definitely, again, like don't want to have that experience. And once you experience burnout, I just feel like, again, your passion and motivation for what you're doing kind of diminishes a little bit, because then you're not going to want to, like carry on and continue your work. So that's my advice to people dealing with that.
Good advice. Good advice. Unfortunately, we are coming close to our end of time. I feel like we honestly did cover a lot, but I also feel like we could have got a lot more. So hopefully we can have you back one day.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I can't believe, wow, I can't believe it's been like, wow, it's already been 40 minutes.
Yeah, time flew for real.
Wow. Well, of course,
But
as usual, I enjoy talking to you guys.
before we do leave,
Mhm.
I would like for you to just give the audience your how could they contact you one more time? I know you mentioned it in the beginning, and we also gonna drop it in the bio, but just one more time to get it out there. Your IG, your business IG, your website. Let us hear it.
Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, it's Lexie Writes, LEXIEWRITES 2020 on Instagram, and www.lexiewrites.com. And for my personal page, it's Lexi, LEXI _ Collins, 15 on Instagram. And if you want to get in contact with me, like through phone or email, my email is Alexis, AEL. Wait, sorry. You guys can edit that part out.
Maybe.
Okay, wait. Okay, yeah. And my email is AEL. Wait, why am I messing up my own name? I'm sorry.
It's okay. Whatever you put, it'll be edited in the video.
We got you.
So it's okay.
Yeah, okay, one more time. Okay, take 3. Okay, yeah. And then my email is alexis@lexywrites.com. And my number that you can get in contact me with is 201-212-1718.
All right. Thank you.
Bet.
And I also want to give a shout out to Malik for doing my logo. Okay, like it was fire. All right, I just want to put that shout out there.
No problem, no problem. But thank you for your time. We really
We appreciate
appreciate
it.
you coming to the podcast and giving your views and your advice and all your experiences. Again, we do hope to have you again soon. And to all of our viewers, make sure that y'all follow her on Instagram and all of her websites to see, her latest content and all of her big moves that's coming soon. So,
Make sure y'all cop Embracing Changes as well. Don't forget her book.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for having me and allowing me on your platform. Like it was definitely amazing, and it's always great talking to you guys.
No problem.
You
no
too.
problem.
You too.
With that, of course, like, comment, share the video, get her name out there. You feel me?
Thanks.
Other than that, everybody have a good day. Peace.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
Anytime.
Bye.